me my entire life. And for years, I never understood why. It used to really bother me. But then one day, I was driving my little boy to school, and I saw this quote by Walt Whitman. It was painted on the wall there. It said, "Be curious, not judgmental."
Great moments are born from great opportunity. And that's what you have here tonight, boys. That's what you've earned here tonight.
Beyond the Bench with Brad Payne and Matt Briggins right here on 102.7 The Game.
Tonight, we skate with them. Tonight, we stay with them. And we shut them down because we can. Tonight, we are the greatest hockey team in the world.
It's Beyond the Bench, 102.7 The Game, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union. Vic Evans with the two stars of the show, Brad Payne, Matt Briggins. And guys, I'm not sure, I mean, it would be a long time that you'd have to go back and talk about a weekend like you've had here with high school football on Friday night, the kickoff of high school basketball starting Monday for a lot of schools. I mean, some schools Monday, a lot of our
Coach
schools
Rick starts
Tuesday.
today.
Okay.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. We're
live and
in full transparency, recording the show. It's on Sunday afternoon. Now, you can go out and find it on the live stream. We don't promote it much, but it's out there. You can watch it on the live stream. And not only that, you're on Mark Stoops' countdown clock watch here as they have to figure out what to do as your guys' Louisville Cardinals. Here's what we found out on Saturday. Louisville's JV team in walk-on is a hell of a lot better than UK basketball or UK football. We learned that. What did you think about that game on Saturday?
So, look, I'm not going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. I told you I was done with them, that I was not going to watch them. And I didn't watch. We had practice anyway. But with that being said, I did happen to see some scores, and I was getting some text messages from UK friends. That's embarrassing. Look, maybe it helped that the people that were hurt for Louisville didn't play. And
no, they got the cancer out of their locker rooms. What they ended up doing,
it could possibly be. They had, and these guys certainly the guys that played for Louisville know the Kentucky-Louisville rivalry a lot better than some of those guys too.
Here's the reality of it is, I watched the whole game. Watched the first half twice, actually. So, one, we're all down on Brom. Well, Louisville, we've talked about this before. Louisville was just a few points away from being undefeated in reality. I mean, the SMU debacle, they were hurt, and quarterback was out. Everybody was out, didn't have time prepared, just came off a bad loss, went to SMU and got just drilled. So if they're undefeated going into that game and everybody healthy, I think you got a different ball game. Okay? Yeah. So let's just get that straight. Brom's 8-4, 3 straight seasons of 8+ wins, and in the 3 years he's been coaching, he has the best record in the ACC.
Yes,
okay?
in the whole ACC.
The whole ACC.
Combined, yes.
So I was down on Brom at times, but the guy can coach. He's got to figure out how to win those games, those trap games.
He loses games like Cal, though. You have no business losing.
He does, but Cal's also got a future NFL quarterback slinging it back there, and Louisville didn't play very well. It still was an overtime ball game. Though.
I mean, he'll be the number one guy in the portal.
Yeah. Kentucky, though, you say that Kentucky didn't prepare for that game, you're delusional.
I didn't say that.
I'm not saying say Kentucky did not care about that game. I've heard some people say that, whatnot.
No, it's Big Blue fans trying to
make excuses like they typically do. And so Kentucky
they cared about the game.
They cared about the game. Kentucky football is just not very good. Stoops has got to go. Their offense is inept. I've been in the corner of Stoops a little bit, saying who you going to get. He's the all-time winningest coach. Blah blah blah. He's wore out his welcome. They need to get an offensive-minded coach in there. And here's the thing about Kentucky and Louisville, and this I'm gonna go back to Brom when I say this too. For some reason, some fans are down on Louisville a little bit is because Brom's trying to do it the Saban-esque way, where you have really good defense, you play ball control. If you can go down and put a few touchdowns in, and you play field position, you win the game 21-3. Mm-hmm. And that's how you win championships a lot of times.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, I agree.
And
but
even Saban realized you couldn't
yes,
win championships that way.
You got to open it up. And Louisville didn't have the quarterback quite to open it up.
No.
But the reality of it is for Louisville and Kentucky to put fans in the seats, they've got to be exciting. Say all you want about Hal Mummy. He was a cheat. He was crazy. But he was. But the guy could score points. And he put fans in the seat. And that's the reality of it is Kentucky's got to get somebody that can make it exciting again and put fans in the seat.
Can I say this though? I do get tired of this in this aspect. And everybody knows I'm not a Mark Stoops guy. I wasn't even fired last year. I hate the fight. I hate the thing I hear from Coach Briggins here or Big Blue Nation. He's the all-time winningest coach. In 14 years, he won 3 games against SEC teams that finished the year with a winning SEC record. You had 3 games every year you're supposed to win. You go out and you get a Miami of Ohio, you get Southern Miss. Okay, our non-conference.
There's a lot of SEC teams.
But hold on, our non-conference schedule is terrible outside of Louisville. So in 14 wins, you win those 3 games. You've won 42 games. Like, no, I don't need to know what it is. Give me, what's his SEC record?
No,
it's horrible. It's horrible.
It's awful.
And if there was any team in any school in the SEC that their coach was 3-13 the last 2 years in the SEC, he'd be gone. They have to do it today. You find out. I said after the Auburn win, it was the worst thing that ever happened to the Kentucky program.
I agree.
If they would have lost to Auburn, maybe John Summerall's named coach today.
I don't mean
Instead,
to cut you
he's
off.
everywhere else.
I don't mean to cut you off, but so what really helped Stoops to get him this big contract is he won 10 wins. He had 10 wins there.
In a bad SEC year.
Yes, in a bad SEC year, in a bad Louisville year too, where Louisville wasn't very good. So you have a bad Louisville team, bad coaching. You have a weak SEC. He gets 10+ wins. That's what catapulted him over.
South Carolina, Tennessee, Florida were all moving backwards. And Kentucky just wasn't moving backwards as fast.
They were staying kind of,
and that was the.
They had a couple
the same way.
They had a couple good gunslingers. Had a couple good.
No, you had John Slarman. You had the best offensive line in the SEC. You had John Slarman,
and you had. Listen, did you know one of those years is vacated?
Yes,
I forgot all about.
No, they don't have one 10-win season because if I'm not going to count Louisville's national championship, I don't count their team.
I had forgotten all about that.
At least I'm across the board. I'll say this, and then we'll move on to high school.
You should count Louisville's national.
But
I'm not going to. It's vacated.
You should.
The measuring stick opponents for Kentucky every year: Carolina, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, Louisville. You went 0-4 and you got outscored 177-64. Case closed. You fire the dude.
Well,
and go look at his record. You know what I'm talking about, the Louisville game.
Yes.
All right. Louisville's had, I would consider in the last 20 years, 3 good coaches. Petrino, the first time, really good. Not even the second time was okay. Strong. And Brom. Go look at Stoops' record against those 3 guys. If it's not for Scott Satterfield, Stoops would be even more trouble.
Craig Thorpe.
He lost 4 against Satterfield.
Yeah. So.
No, he won 4 against Satterfield. Satterfield lost
3
4 times.
I thought it was 3.
I thought it was 4.
Okay, he's either 3-0 or 4-0. But go look at those other games.
The biggest tell is 0 points.
Yeah.
And he's the king of late touchdowns.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
that team
covers
quit.
and all that. To not score against a Louisville defense that is just barely above average at the end of the year is ridiculous.
Now, we're going to know probably by the time the show airs on the radio on Monday. Is Stoops the coach? Come Tuesday, is Stoops the coach at Kentucky football?
I'm going to talk out of both sides of my mouth. Yes. I say yes, and here's because I don't think he's going to be willing to budge off of
They're going to fire him.
You're going to have to pay him in
Well,
whatever
pay him.
30
They're
days.
going to, and I would ship Cutter Bowley out with him. He ain't. If you think he's the answer for Kentucky football, then you don't know football.
You all,
That's all I'm
and
gonna
I
tell you.
know that we're just sitting here at a table, but you act like it's so easy to come up with how many ever $1 million in 30 days.
Well, take out a loan. But what's it going to do? Hold on. What's it going to do? What's it going to do to the program if you bring him back and they run it back next year?
You're asking me about
as
tomorrow.
far as sales and all that other stuff.
Get him in a room and
I would
say,
take out a loan if I were you.
Let's. You better get in line for that. There is plenty of people that would help donate to that.
Whatever
That
I have to
GoFundMe would absolutely explode. Their stock would explode if y'all put one on there for me to get fired. You're going to have to get him in a room and beg him to redo this contract.
Bobby Beneem. Instead of paying him $38 million, pay him $70 million over 15 years.
What if you just
Wholeheartedly agree.
I gave him a gift card to Golden Corral.
He may leave.
He may
then.
take that.
He may leave. Then.
He would get his money's worth. I'll say that.
Speaking of food, let's.
Yeah, we got to try this because you brought in your
boy.
cranberry, and Coach Payne's
I'm a little
bringing
worried
in
about it.
Red for Panther.
his pasta
no,
salad.
Panthers. Yeah. For
Destination
Panthers.
school. I
Destination
forgot.
school.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to
Go
say.
Panthers.
Your dress.
There you go. I've got the
the
thing.
dress.
So we're going to let you talk while I mute us
so
two.
This is.
I got to get a little bit of meat, cheese, all that in there.
Yeah. So it, I'm not, obviously you see the ingredients, but it's made not only, tediously, but it's made with love. And I got compliments the whole, all week. And I will say it is left over, and it's not fresh. But it is good. I even had me a couple of bites, on the way out. Salami, pepperoni, ham, cheese. It certainly doesn't fall under salad very well.
I will say this: the salami sets it apart. Now it's a little too tomatoey for my taste.
Yeah.
I'm not a tomato guy.
Yeah.
And you got the big, you got the little tomatoes in here.
Yeah.
That's dang good. That is
thanks.
really, really good. I'd give that.
Matthew?
I'd give that a good 8.75.
Okay.
So my wife and mom make good pasta salad too.
Mm-hmm.
Best pasta salad I ever had.
Whoa! That's a huge compliment right there.
After that.
No, I'm being
You could
honest.
at least lie. I appreciate the.
I really do like it. I
Yeah.
like the tomatoey and I like the salami. I like
Yeah.
all that in there. I think it's great.
So, the
It's
seasoning.
not. It's not ranchy.
No,
And
exactly.
Italian-y.
Yes.
It's more.
the seasoning really
Yeah.
sets it apart. It's not anything that I do, obviously, and I think anybody that has a pulse knows that. But they sell this Simply salad, and it's a red. It looks all red. I think it's got a lot of paprika in it. You pour about a half a bottle in it, and it turns.
You're
this
good to
reddish
go?
tint. Yeah, but it does. It's got a bunch of tomato flavor.
no, I love it. I think it's
Hey,
great.
listen,
Shocked
only on
me,
Beyond the
honestly.
Bench can you be talking UK football and what they
go
need to do
straight into
and go
Italian
straight into
pasta.
pasta salad. Go talk a little high school. Before we get there, I do want to remind you, right now here at Cromwell Media, you got Shelter Santa going on. We have the wish list of all the kids who are living in shelters in Davis County. You can come by the studio. You can call Cromwell Media and talk to Kristen. She will get you a young person's wish list. Even if you don't want to shop, you can come
do the
by,
shopping
adopt
for
a
you.
kid.
Yeah.
You give the money, and Kristen will do all the shopping
she's
for
great.
you. And so we're trying to get
We
bring
need to
a-
do something that for somebody that picks up like $500 or more, like they can hug.
They can
Matt.
come on the bench here and do the show
hit
with you
Matt.
guys.
Punch me.
You talking about a fundraiser?
Whoa. We'll be raising all kinds of money. So,
Yeah.
so stop by. Shelter Santa is the best thing we do all year. And let's bring a little Christmas
great.
magic to the kids that are living in shelters at no fault of their
Absolutely.
own here in Davis County. And guys, something happened that's never happened before. And how about two schools from the city of Owensboro punching their ticket on Friday night to go to Kroger Field?
awesome.
I don't know if you guys
Unbelievable.
were at the games at all.
No.
The crowds were amazing. I saw Jason Frakes take pictures up in Louisville over
Yeah.
the playoffs and being like, what is wrong with come to Owensboro? Because we were doing the tailgate
Even
show.
that's what I was going to say. The
I
tailgate
did see
was full.
I saw some pictures of the tailgate. That's impressive.
It was a great tailgate
was.
show. Mark Higgs, he's sitting right up there in his Dolphins
That is
uniform,
great.
was
One
on
of
the
my favorite
show.
pros ever.
That's great.
growing
I
up.
think we got invited, guys, to the his Super Bowl party in Miami this year. I think we might have to figure out a way to get down there.
I'll fly
Yeah.
down
Because I heard
I'll
that is
figure it
the
out.
Super Bowl party
I'll
to
figure
be
it out.
to.
Mark Hicks's?
Yes.
Really?
He puts on a heck of a Super Bowl party down there in Atlanta every year. I think it's like the 27th year or something.
Man, I tell you what, though, I'm really impressed with both Catholic and Owensboro, and just the job DeMarcus has done coming in there and first year and
Starting 0-2 when the whole
0-2.
thing was ready
And
to burn down.
You had some naysayers out there.
Oh,
And
yes.
you know who you naysayers are. And so, everybody, wants to jump on the coaching and all this stuff. Well, DeMarcus knew what he's doing, and he played a very tough schedule, which got them ready for this point.
Yeah.
And, so just because you lose your first two games, doesn't mean you can't respond back and have a great year, and DeMarcus did. And Catholic, like I said, that thing just keeps rolling.
How about, I mean,
Morris is so good,
Yes.
man.
I don't think it's good enough credit. How about this?
And had a huge injury, man.
Yeah, but not only on top of that, how about 48 wins in your last 52 games is what Catholic has put together.
That's impressive.
In their run. And the 4 losses were to LCA with Cutter Bowley at quarterback on a last-second tip pass in the end zone. Mayfield, and maybe one of the greatest games since Brom and Bush played. Beechwood, and an Owensboro team that's also going to the state finals this year. Those are the 4 losses in their last 52 games.
I've never had that kind of success even on Nintendo. Like when I played. Like I don't think I've ever won 48 or 52 in anything.
And I
Maybe playing Caden and horse.
There you go. Definitely not if you're shooting horse with Natalie. But so Catholic will play Friday. They play, I think it's at 3 Eastern time. No, it's 4 Eastern time, 3 Central time is when Catholic plays. Owensboro plays Saturday. They play the last state title game, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You'll be able to hear both games right here on 102.7 The Game. We're going to take Catholic off of K-News, put it on 102.7, take Owensboro off of VJS, put them both right here on 102.7.
Good luck to both of them. They deserve it. Winning's not easy. It's not.
3 straight state final games for Catholic.
And it's damn sure hard to sustain winning. And both have done it, and both will continue to do it as long as Morris and Ganaway are where they're at.
Absolutely.
They'll sustain that.
Yeah, we'll have Tailgate Show on Friday. That will be brought to you by Rick's Tire and Auto Service. I think that Tailgate Show will start at noon Central Standard Time. It'll be from Kroger parking lot. And then on Saturday, that will start at 5 o'clock our time. And that's brought to you by Ultra Gyms. From what I hear, Ty Ashley and John Iarkane are traveling up the smokers that they had over there. Right over there to have a massive tailgate party.
Throw down some meat, man. Throw down some meats on the Hurricanes.
But before we get to, we're going to have Jophus Decker who's going to come next segment. It'll be our Canty Dairy Queen segment. We're going to let you guys talk high school basketball in the region and talking about, maybe the greatest recruiter on the planet, Jason Mays.
Oh.
Huge story breaking there.
Saying Bradley, my bad.
No. He may get passed by Jason Mays.
They're both pretty good.
They are pretty good.
They're both pretty good.
Nobody records me on the phone.
There you go.
That's true.
That is true.
That is true.
You're smart enough to not let that happen. I've got to ask you
true.
a little another college football
Get 'em
question
there.
is Lane Kiffin takes the job at LSU.
Yep.
Now, I really, David Pollack from ESPN put out there, don't blame Lane Kiffin, blame the schedule. I don't know what you want the schedule to be. Like, you could move back the signing day for recruiting back to February. But you really can't with the portal because, these guys do have to, quote, unquote, go to class.
Well, so when the second semester starts.
Right, you got to have at your new school.
It has nothing to, it has everything to do with the schedule, but you can't do anything about it.
Correct.
So
Hold
it's
on,
part of it.
I get tired of hearing about the portal, though. You can't do it till February because of the portal. Well, what's the difference in all these guys that go to spring practice and then they've
taken that portal away now. There's only one portal.
It's over.
So these guys that go to spring practice and they quit, they don't get a transfer? Yeah, they do.
No, that portal is no longer open. Another portal doesn't open. And now they take it. It used to be 2 portal seasons. Now it's only 1, and it's right there, right at the end of December,
So
1st of January.
They have to
sit out a year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well I still wish you could move it back.
And it's why, but I don't know how you do it.
Well, you can't. If you move it back, you got to move it back to May because the reason if I'm at Nebraska and I want to transfer to Miami, I'm going to do it December so I can enroll in school and be at spring practice.
Can we just start the season earlier and then that makes the college football playoffs earlier?
Are you going to start college football in the 1st of August or end of July?
Students aren't on campus.
But why? Why not?
Students aren't on campus.
Are they're not practicing?
No, but
They
how about
are,
your
but
crowds? And
stuff.
you don't want to play your games with no students on campus.
So Alabama depends on their students.
No,
to
they don't.
No, but I'm just you can't do that.
I don't think there's any way. No, that's the answer.
piss on the students.
If there's a way you can move college football up, but you already have week 0 starting right at the end of August.
This ain't about them anyway.
No, it's not.
Well,
It's really not.
Here's what we could say.
This is a pro league.
We could say they're not really student athletes,
And they're not.
And who cares about if you're going to? They're all going to online class anyway.
There's no one that's even on campus. No one. No one's on campus. Those football players aren't on campus.
Not anymore.
Some of them are. But
Maybe freshmen.
But the walk-ons, and they got to make sure they don't quit.
All the guys that played for Louisville when they smashed UK were on campus. They may have been living at home. They were walk-on. But here's my question for you. Not that I don't think there's any calendar. I don't think anybody could foreseen a guy who was coaching a team that was going to be in the college football playoffs leaving
Only Kiffin.
for another team. Well, we say that, but so did Summerall. Tulane's right in the middle there. If Tulane wins their conference championship, now it's a little different because he's going from Tulane to Florida. But it's still the same thing. He's leaving a team in for a college playoff. I'm not saying that I give it to him too. Now, here's my question. So Kiffin takes the job. Ole Miss says, you're not coaching. Kiffin says, that's fine. We're burning the whole thing down. I'm taking coaches. I'm trying to take players. You want to come to me at LSU, you better be on the plane tonight or don't come at all. I mean, this is going to get ugly, isn't it?
I would let him. I would let him coach.
It is.
I wouldn't.
I'd let him coach.
So there's no reason. Here's why I say I agree with Briggs. There's no reason not to let him coach it out and fulfill it. Because selfishly, as an Ole Miss administrator or whoever is making these decisions, go ahead and try to win. Because, look, what are you going to say? I need to keep him away from the players.
I mean, they're going to transfer. But
they're
it
going to
goes.
transfer. They're going to transfer. He's going to text them. He's going to call them. You can't stop Kiffin from talking to these kids.
No, but the thing is here's the thing. If you're Ole Miss, you now have to move on too at some point. So if Kiffin's plan is to take his whole offensive staff and half of his defensive staff, then your hands are tied for another month with signing period, with portal times.
Go on and hire him. Go on and hire him.
It's like Louisville. It's like, so when Satterfield left to Cincinnati hired him. Louisville played Cincinnati in the bowl game. Satterfield didn't coach either team, and some of his assistants were still coaching at Louisville, and they coached the bowl game.
Knowing that they were going
to Cincinnati. Then they left and went to Cincinnati. Let them coach. Let them coach.
I believe in like the Michigan thing.
It's like a 2-week
Ole
notice.
Miss guy's going to coach this team. But it worked for Steve Fisher in Michigan.
So if he gets a job at Bauman Paper Company, okay, all right,
you don't have to worry about that.
And he leaves Kenway, but he has to give him his 2-week notice. Are they going to walk him out and not make him work for 2 more weeks? He's going to work for 2 more weeks.
Now there are some places when I was at. Hold on, I was at a place where we had a guy that decided to go to a competitor, and they walked him out that day.
Yeah, but here's the thing: let him coach.
And actually called him an Uber because he drove a company truck.
Why didn't you? Why wouldn't you? Selfishly as Ole Miss, you've got one shot.
Well, I think some of it is
win it with him,
right?
Yeah, let him.
I think some of it is they got their feelings hurt in the way he drug it out.
Agree,
100%.
Agree with every bit of that. But we're talking days.
I hope he fails. He's a diva. He is.
I just don't understand the hate for it.
You're a fan of Lane Kiffin?
Not as a person necessarily, but I don't disagree with anything that he's done.
But here's the point I'm making is I think they both can be right. I think both. There's nothing wrong with Kiffin wanting to coach this team and finish it out. There's nothing wrong with Ole Miss saying, no, we're not going to happen. The part I have is don't be Lane Kiffin like you went out there after a young media guy in college because he made a statement you didn't like and you threatened him with cops around. But then, okay, you're right. You can say, hey, I want to coach the team. I have that right. Ole Miss is very well in their right to say, no, you're not going to. You don't have to be even a bigger, witch about it and be like, all right, I'm burning this whole thing down now. That's the problem
kids?
I have.
What's better for the kids, though? What's the best thing for the kids and the players, which is what's about, right? The best thing for the players is for Lane Kiffin to coach that game and them try to win it for those players that are playing on Ole Miss right now. Let them coach it. Now, do I agree that he should have went to LSU? The contract that Ole Miss was going to give him was just as lucrative as LSU.
Had to do with NIL.
It probably
coaching
did.
salaries,
but there is no more. The days of John Wooden and Denny Crum and Adolph Rupp, those guys staying for long periods of time, and Bear Bryant, all them.
There's no loyalty, and I don't know
on
why
either side.
But why are we expecting it? Why are we in such outrage that someone?
Well, I think Signetti had a little loyalty. Here's the thing: he got a big contract. He did, Bradley, but he could have got a big contract. LSU probably would have hired Signetti. And he would have got way more money.
But he also knows he's in a conference is a lot easier to win day in and day out than the
Big Ten?
All I'm saying is
I forgot SEC's a
No.
great thing ever.
I'm talking about the bottom of the Big Ten is really bad.
If Signetti wanted to show his loyalty for IU and hiring him and taking a chance on him, he wouldn't. He would just be like, "Look, I'll just work for $500,000 a year. You don't have to pay me. Don't worry about paying me."
But he got paid. But he could have made a lot more at other places and gone to a bigger football school.
I don't know. He's making like $12 million a year.
He's the second highest paid coach.
But he wants to build Indiana. He could have gone to Ole Miss. So let me ask you this: if LSU would offer him the same amount of money, do you think he would have went to LSU?
I don't know. Okay, in 5 years when he goes somewhere else, is it okay?
Is he going to go somewhere else?
Alabama.
I'm asking.
He'll be the next Alabama
if
coach.
he goes somewhere else, is it okay
why?
then?
See, here's what I don't get on these people. They always think the grass is greener on the other side. Why go to Alabama?
I
You're
don't disagree
he's a
with
God in Bloomington.
I don't disagree with anything you're trying to say. I'm just I get so sick of everybody being in outrage when there is zero loyalty in
agree.
sports.
I will say this, and it's on
I'm
the
looking
player
for
side
loyalty.
too. It's the player side too.
No.
Like you can build a quarterback and then boom, he's
You're
all
gone.
playing somewhere else for
when
more
you have
money.
to recruit your own damn players again, this is all a joke.
Listen.
It's not student athletes; they're pro athletes that have unbelievably great contracts for them because it only works for them. And these coaches that, all right, you know, I'm going to be loyal to IU. All he's got to do is have 2 back-to-back crappy NIL years, and guess what IU's going to do to him?
They're looking for somebody else.
Well, you can't coach. It looks like
I'll say
all the
this:
seniors
I'm
gonna-
not a fan of his, but Deion Sanders when he left when he left the HBC school, what was it Jackson State or wherever he was at, and he went to Colorado. He gave a speech to his players. He said, "I know you guys don't understand this, but let me tell you how the coaching world works. You either walk out on your own, or they're going to see you out at some point." And so if that's and I think Buzz Williams has got it. 7 years,
or
get
8
out.
years.
Yeah, but there's times you can walk out on your own. Or here's the thing: let's say Cincinnati coaches for 12 more years, and finally the time has come. He's done. They let him resign, or he retires. You know what I'm saying? That happens.
That would
as well,
be unbelievable.
Yeah, and that does happen in some places.
You got your Sabans and probably Kirby Smart before it's all said and done. But you also look at the 2 that I just now mentioned. You're at Alabama and Georgia. Where the hell else are you going to go?
Exactly.
Well, I do think you've got to go get your money when you can in coaching because it is so fickle. And that's what makes high school coaching so hard because you can't go get your money.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Everywhere you go, you're getting paid the
I
same.
get fired from coaching. I'm just losing a stipend.
Right. That's all it is.
All I can tell you is wait. I'm going to give you chaos. The playoffs in chaos, possibly anyway. Here's the chaos. Georgia beats Alabama in the SEC championship game. Alabama will miss the playoffs because they'll have 3 losses. They'll miss the playoffs. Caleb DeBoer is the next coach at Penn State, and Lane Kiffin is the next coach at Alabama. He's at
my
LSU
gosh.
for 2 weeks.
That would be Lane Kiffin. There.
Would that not be awesome?
Let it happen. I love it.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
I love it.
I tell you what, we got to take a break. We're going to get Joseph Decker on next. These guys are going to talk a little third region basketball.
That'd be
You're
wild.
listening to Beyond the Bench.
My mind just
102.7 The Game.
Stoops is his defense coordinator.
It's Beyond the Bench, 1027 The Game, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union. Vic Evans with the two stars of the show, Brad Payne, Matt Briggins. Before we get to our Green River Area Federal Credit Union guest of the game, Coach Briggs, tell us about your great partner, or Coach Payne, tell us about your great partners at Hawkins Abney.
Hawkins Abney PLLC is a full-service architectural firm founded in 2022, providing design services for academic, business, healthcare, hospitality, industrial, and mercantile projects across the state. Located in Beaver Dam, so give Jeremiah or Kyle a call at 270-363-2235.
And this is where we usually have our Canty Dairy Queen list, but instead, today we're going to get our Canty Dairy Queen interview. It's not any Dairy Queen, it's Canty Dairy Queen, New Hartford Road, right next to Ohio County High School. And we're being joined on the phone line by Joseph Decker. We got you, Joseph.
What's up, guys? How y'all doing, man? I'm enjoying the show so far.
Oh, thank you very much. I don't know why you'd want to come on these two clowns show, but I've got to ask you, I'll let these two guys ask plenty of questions too. I've got a couple questions for you. As we saw yesterday breaking news where, Jason May strikes again, gets a big transfer to come in, Austin Sears. My question to you is the KHSA broken a little bit?
Well, I'll say this, it really feels, I've talked to a lot of coaches today, just kind of calling, getting their inputs. And I will say this, I would say 95% of the coaches I've talked to today are wanting a change. And I feel like a change will likely almost try to be demanded by the end of next season. Kind of just giving their opinions on how it's ridiculous. I can obviously understand and justify transfers a lot of times. And these are some of the things that they said. But when it comes to December, basically 2 days before the season, they don't have that. They don't agree with that. It's an interesting transfer. I think it caught a lot of people off guard with the Sears, Austin and Chase Sears going to Montgomery County. Obviously it's going to have some drama to it. There's going to be a lot of conversations. There already is, due to it being Montgomery County, where Coach Jason May's coach is at. But this is debatably, to a lot of people, the biggest transfer that has happened all season. And it just coincidentally happens, 2 days before the season starts, where North Oldham had been planning on playing. Well, they still will, but North Oldham plays Monday against Ballard, which will be one of the better games of the year, possibly. So it's definitely a big shock, and it's a lot of news to the state.
And I understand what the coaches want, maybe demanding change. I'm not sure. I've been a big proponent that there should be a one-time transfer rule, no questions asked, for any high school student through his junior year. That would be my rule if I was the king of the KHSA, which I'm not. But, you also have, I don't know what they could be. Are they looking at some type of timeline that if you're going to transfer, if you're going to move, you have to do it by a certain date? I mean, is that what they're talking about?
I know that's something that people have definitely mentioned. They like the one-time transfer idea, but the thing is they just have to have a timeline on it. One thing that people say is, well, what if we lose in the first round of district and then my kid transfers out and goes plays for Louisville Trinity Darren Region? Obviously, if they were to add a rule like that, you've got to assume that's not something that's possible. Obviously there'll have to be a cutoff date.
Well, even Indiana made that where that's not possible, and they put in a one-time transfer rule. I mean, they're allowed to play in season. If you want to play in the same season you transfer, I think it's like a 45-day window you have to sit out, which keeps you from losing in a district game and then transferring to another school and playing in a regional tournament.
Yeah, see, I'm not 100% against that myself. I do like the one-time transfer. I like how you said, before. I mean, you can't do it the senior, through the junior year. I do like that. I know there's obviously still some rules. I know, like, if you haven't played any high school action, I believe, and you're a freshman and you transfer, you're automatically eligible. I don't know all the exact details, but I think there's almost 100% chance that when we're looking at this next summer, there will be a new rule or there will be something that has been taken into effect.
I've got to ask you, as it happened in the third region, you had the big transfer from Meade County, the point guard House transferring, I think, to North Hardin. That seems to me a place where these two teams these two schools have all kinds of battles, because North Hardin's quarterback transfer to Meade could never get eligible. That's the problem I have with the transfer rule is one kid can transfer, he can't get eligible. This kid transfers. It all comes down to what kind of socioeconomic class you're in and whether or not a lot of times if your parents have the money to hire attorneys.
100%. I'll say this, there is about a list I have in my notes right now, probably 20 kids around the state of Kentucky that is still ineligible. And it's interesting because it happens to be a lot of those big Division I names of the star power in KHSAA that they're not eligible right now, and you don't want to be a Division I talent that's a senior and you don't get to touch the floor all year. I'll say this, since October 15th, I believe I looked the other day, KSSAA has completely shut down getting kids eligible. Almost every transfer that has happened in November, nobody's eligible. I'll say that. I'm not going to say names, not going to go into details, but the KSSAA is really putting their foot down since obviously it was so chaotic this summer already. Then we've seen so many moves in October, late September. Almost all these guys who have made transfers in November, none of them's eligible, and it's crazy because a lot of them are those big time names that are either ranked on a national site. They're either a Mr. Basketball candidate. There's a lot of guys like that are not eligible yet. Cam House was a big one in the third region that I think shocked a lot of people. Just on last Saturday, he was playing for them against DuPont Manual in Louisville in their preseason event. And then Sunday, and then Monday night, he's announcing he's at North Hardin. So it is getting a little out of hand.
His is a little, I do want to clarify for people out there, his is a little different because he was an 8th grader last year, which means he had not played varsity sports. So there's it doesn't count. It doesn't matter if you do it before your freshman
I know
year.
that, but he did.
But what I'm saying, there's not a lot of lead to fight on with him. This is one that's probably going to be ruled fairly eligible fairly quickly.
If you play a varsity sport as an 8th grader and you're going to go by the rule, then it should be like
no, it doesn't count.
I know it doesn't, but it should be.
No, it shouldn't, because then you go back to when I was in school and you had
varsity.
Hold on, here's what happened. Hold on, you had coaches whenever I was in school, and Van Hoos was great about this. That had really good 8th graders. He would put them in for a couple games of blowouts against like a Whitesville Trinity or somebody, and he'd be like, "I got him locked in
that's
now."
A Bush League move.
That's where we're at on the proposed
transfer
right now. Yeah. Hey, so Joseph, let's go back in time here. I actually had no idea you are as young as what you are, which is a great thing to have. That's
just because he's older than hell.
It's because I don't have it anymore, so that's something I envy. So tell me how this whole thing got started. I know there's not a lot of years on Earth for you here, but tell me how it all got started and where you're at now and where you plan on going.
Yeah, so actually a week ago today, I just turned 18. So a lot of kind of everything I've been doing and building has been in my 16. I was 16 for about 6 months while I was doing it. And then obviously last year being 17, the whole period, covering the state. A lot of it actually had to do with 102.7, with the Sports Connect Media, guys like that, just kind of getting kick-started. I started with my principal, Jonathan Williams at Evanston County. We were supposed to come and talk to Sports Connect Media one night when they were third region hoops and kind of just talk about Evanston County in the third region. I've always been a huge basketball nerd and geek and just loved it. I played it up until middle school. And, when you're obsessed with something so much, it's not just, hey, I'm not going to play basketball when I get older. I'm just going to give up on the sport. No, I wanted to coach or do broadcasting. I wanted to be involved. But yeah, I joined up with Next Up Recruits, which is the largest scouting service in the state, last November. And I'm now basically running the scouting service, talking to coaches, selling it to coaches, setting up events. So that's been a really, really, really fun last few months. We just had 2 events, preseason events, one at Paul Lawrence Dunbar and then one at Taylor County. They were both huge successes. We had college coaches in the building. We had some of the top talents in the state in the building. We had Coach Hank Plona at Western. He actually stayed the whole duration of the event at Taylor County. So that's just something that, you can't express enough thanks to him for doing that. But, the love for basketball, it never really went anywhere. I don't think it's going to go anywhere, I would say now, especially kind of what I'm getting into now. But, the future, I kind of have an idea. I really want to coach at the college level. I love the aspect of recruiting. I love the fact of, coaching at that high of a level and, just being around athletes and things like that. So going to kind of get a head start on coaching at the college level, whether do I take a job at like maybe a lower conference, like an NAIA, a D3, start there early as an assistant. Maybe you go be a student manager at the D1 level, grind out a few years. I'm not 100% sure on the decision yet. I have some opportunities. I've been given some scholarships if I want to do the student manager role. And I've also had some opportunities. I've talked to some lower level coaches, the NAIA D3 level, but that's something I'll probably hopefully be deciding by the end of the year. I'm excited to kind of announce that and see what I'm going to do, but yeah, grinding to get to that Division I level and coaching college basketball one day. That's what I'm doing everything for right now.
Well, get on Jason's May staff. There's not a better recruiter in the country. I kid.
I got a question.
I kid. Go ahead.
This is a serious question, and If you had to say who was the best recruiter out of these three, who would it be? So I'm gonna give you three coaches, okay? Pat Kelsey, coach 1, Jason Mays, coach 2, and Bradley Payne, coach 3. Who do you think is the best recruiter out of those three?
I'll take Bradley Payne. I'll take Coach Bradley Payne.
Hang up.
Yeah, he's definitely the dirtiest recruiter out of the three for sure. Don't you agree?
Doubt. You know, we're just really lucky. You know, no one's got a hold of his phone, or I don't even know if he'd have a job anymore.
Well, yeah, I got some lawyers working on it, so we'll see what happens.
You know, for Joseph, for people across the state that may be watching this, will listen to this on Monday on 102.7. Talk to him a little bit why Jay Mall should be a legit, and I've been saying it, he's a legit top 2 or 3 Mr. Basketball candidate. Talk about the people. And I know sometimes you run into some biases with the Golden Triangle and with Eastern Kentucky, but I think people are really sleeping on just how good across this state Jay Moss is.
You know, I would say this pretty confidently. I don't think there's a player in the state of Kentucky that impacts the game more than Jonathan Moss. You know, obviously there's guys out there who's 6'8", 6'10", 7-footers who's going to just hold it down inside on offense, hold it down on the defensive end. But I've not seen a guard, I feel like, in the last 2 years. And you know, I'd maybe have to think about it a little more, but I'm confident in saying this, especially the way he's looked this summer. The way Jonathan Moss controls the game is, I don't know if there's anybody else who does it better. You know, I don't think there's a better crew, and I'm not saying he'll be the best college player. I'm not saying he'll be the best in 10 years, but right now there's not a point guard in the state that impacts the game as much as Jonathan Moss. He's tremendously improved his body. He's a much better defender than he was a year ago from today, but offensively, he's a genius on the floor. He's a phenomenal 3-level scorer. He play makes so well. He's excellent in the pick and roll. And, you know, say you take the ball out of his hands, say you do want to chase him all game and you want to try to make, hey, maybe Michael Acton be the point guard. I'm just as comfortable with Jonathan Moss off the ball as I am on the ball because of how good of a shooter he is, how well he moves. It's just, he's got so many talents that makes him special. And, you know, I was talking to the guy I do Next Up Recruits with, and I was talking to some scouts and coaches around the state, and there's not a player in the state of Kentucky that has improved their game more in the last year than Jonathan Moss. There really isn't, whether if it's his skill set or his body. But I think this year he's going to have a huge opportunity to do some crazy things. You know, Jonathan Moss averaging 20 points, 5 rebounds, and maybe 6 or 7 assists on great efficiency really wouldn't shock me. I think that's a absolutely something he could do. We all know Davis County is going to be likely the best team in the 3rd region and a top 5 to 10 team in the state. So, you know, Reese Davidson is kind of the headliner name alongside Amari Owens at Bryan Station. But Jonathan Moss is absolutely 110% in all of those debates, and I think everybody around the state should know that.
You know, if I had to ask you, give me 1 or 2 teams that are maybe flying under the radar in the 3rd region, which 2 teams would you give me?
You know, you have your Edmonton. I mean, you have your Davis County, Grayson County, you know, Catholic. You know, I had ranked Ohio County at 4. Shout out Coach Briggins. You know, there's some teams that, you know, definitely are going under the radar. One of them's Edmonton County, and I don't say that because of my ties and roots there, but they have 7 seniors. They bring back Tyler Wilson, Braden Wright, Blaine DeWeese, Owen Ruth. They get Jonah Massey as a 2028 who actually spent a little bit of time at Grayson County, but they came back to Edmonton County. He's a super, super talented sophomore, is really going to help them out. I think last year they actually kind of excelled expectations. So I kind of expect them to do it again this year. I think they're a team that'll probably come in maybe ranked 8th, 9th in the region, but by the end we could be looking at a 5 or 6 ranking. I really like what they got. You know, I think Tyler Wilson has a chance to be not necessarily the region player of the year, but one of the better players in the region, you know, all region 2nd team, 3rd team guy. But I really like Owensboro Catholic, man. And it feels weird calling Owensboro Catholic a sleeper just because the attention and the love they've gotten the past few years with Coach Tim Riley. But I really like Coach Tabor. I love the way he coaches the game. I've got to catch him a few times this summer, and they impress me more and more. Miles Grant is a kid that I couldn't have told you a thing about a month or 2 ago. But he goes and he plays Warren East, who they're not the toughest team in the world, but he puts up 39 points, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists, I believe. Yeah. And I think that just completely puts another guy on their radar. I've said it for probably a year now. I think Jermel Caruthers is the most underrated basketball player in the state. There's other guys who can be in that debate. I know he's the Power 5 quarterback who's going to play at the college level for football, but I mean, as a basketball player, there's not 10 players in the region, maybe even 5, who make as much of an impact on the basketball floor as him. He sits down, he guards. I think last year, you know, we seen him take Jack Loxton to the rim countless times. Give
Well,
them
he
trouble.
single-handedly almost beat Grayson in the first round of the regional tournament. I mean, leading them.
Yeah. And then you got a guy like Jake Murphy who can shoot it, and then Solly Smith, who, he's gotten better. There's still some flaws in his game as a point guard that, hopefully they can clean up, but he's still super talented. I think he's gotten better year after year. So, his trajectory is good. But I really like Catholic, man. We always know how hard they're going to play. We know they'll be able to shoot. We know they're going to try to slow you down and make the game as uncomfortable as possible for you. But I really like Catholic, man. And, a lot of that does have to do with, really, really liking Jermel, not just as a player, but as a kid, off the floor. But I really like what they got, man. I think they got a really, really good, strong 7. I think Coach has a lot to prove this year, taking over a spot, that was coached by, by a Hall of Famer for almost a decade, I believe. So, I think Catholic is going to be one of those sleeper teams. I like Evanston County. I'm not just going to say this because he's on there, but I really like Ohio County too. I got to catch Emmanuel Suarez at our camp. I think the sky's the limit for him. He's a big guard. He moves really well. He's talented. I love Ryan Durham. I think they got some young talent that'll shock some people. But, the third region is going to kind of get talked badly about a little bit. They're going to say it's Davis versus Grayson, and everybody else is just fighting for, some respect. But I think it's a lot deeper of a region than people say. Apollo's another team. Yes, Meade loses Cam House, but Scouts and Medley still are one of the best duos. But I think this third region is going to be a lot stronger than some people are saying. But
you've got to earn that respect. Like football, Catholic and Owensboro went in as serious underdogs throughout the playoffs because you hadn't won a state title since 1986. You haven't won a game at Rep Arena, which is when most people really get their eyes on everybody in the last 11 years. And so until you can change that, it's always going to be looked down upon.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. But, obviously, it'll very likely, I think a lot of people's thinking it'll come down to Davis and Grayson. They're both ultra talented. I was actually just watching the huddle film on Davis County the other day. They played a scrimmage against Louisville Eastern, and believe it or not, nobody still knows who won that game.
Still don't with 3 minutes and 12 seconds missing. But
that's what it is. You got the missing.
Well,
conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theory show.
It tells me that Davis got beat and they're hiding the film.
I tell you what, there ain't nothing.
He took a magnet to it.
There's nothing hiding about Davis County.
Something Jason Mays would do.
Nobody's hiding at Davis County. I can promise you that. You can talk to Faradale's huddle about that. So moving forward, you guys are really, really in touch and at the pulse of everything that's kind of going on statewide. And there's still a lot of moving parts from what we understand. And sometimes we, meaning the coaches, are the last to find out, including if it's our own players sometimes. So you may actually be able to tell us something about our own teams that we don't know. But is there any more news on the horizon that can be talked about now?
I will say this. I don't know if there's one I can say yet. I just sent a text to kind of ask that question.
Yeah.
I will say tomorrow, I would say very likely in the morning, there will be a star. I say it's confidently a star player. He's a nationally ranked kid, regarded as one of the best players in the state of Kentucky. He's coming back to the state. So I'll give you a hint there. He's coming back, and he'll be joining a team in the 7th region. Not just any 7th region team, one of the bigger programs. That's going to shock a lot of people. There's been a lot of people kind of putting some false info out there saying he's coming back and he's going to the 6th region. He's not going to the 6th region. He's coming back to the 7th region, and he'll be at a 7th region school. Nationally ranked kid, got a lot of respect. Believe it or not, some of the states kind of torn on how they feel about him, but he's definitely going to shock things. It'll be big. I know there is a few other freshmen in the city of Louisville that are kind of looking at possibly transferring. So I would say I think we'll still have 2 or 3 maybe tomorrow. I really confidently say. And
can you let some of those freshmen know in Louisville that Hartford's a great place?
with a great school system with the best test scores, right?
Test scores. Yeah. Can you let some of those freshmen know, please?
So those kids in Louisville are really worried about those test scores.
One of my assistants has an extra room. So.
Joseph, man, listen, thank you for so much for taking your career in your own hands, jumping on this show with these 2 clowns, but it's been a lot of fun.
Of course, man, I appreciate y'all having us on. Hopefully tomorrow or the 2 or 3 last transfers of the year, so we can all kind of go to bed at night and not hopefully worry that someone on our team is going to transfer out and leave. But it should be a fun year in the third. I'm excited to see it. But once again, thank you guys for letting me come on.
I do have one last question. What about there's a possible transfer at Catholic that's trying to get eligible? Have you heard anything about that? Possibly has a green flag as his homeland.
Is your signal moving? Is your signal going out, Joseph?
Sorry, I felt like I thought I just said his name and answered, but I heard the scream. Nothing happened. I think Coach Bradley Payne might be muting me. I don't know.
I hope everything about that situation is muted, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what you're talking about.
There you go. Hey, if you're going to get into college coaching, you know how to say that.
He's got the Coach Briggs answer right down pat.
There you go. Joseph, thank you so much, man. We'll talk to you again in the future.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Thank you. Joseph Decker jumping on the hotline with us.
That was good. He's well spoken for.
Oh, yeah. We've had him on Live at 5 a couple times, and he's just plugged in statewide. And I think some of it, being the same age as a lot of these guys, they like talking to him. And, hey, you go back, you think about where, I know he got a big jump start, back where he got a great interview with Pope. And got him on the Joe show. So yeah, I mean he's a great young kid. He's got a bright future and whatever he wants to do.
Very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable.
We'll take a short break. When we come back, I am going to ask these guys because we're still going to stay on the Kentucky stuff, and I'm also going to get their thoughts since this will be the last show before they come back and hopefully have a couple state championships. We'll get their scores of the state championship games at the end of the week, and also who's going to be. What else is going to go on? We'll find something else to talk about. You're listening to Beyond the Bench, 102.7 The Game. It's Beyond the Bench, brought to you by the Green River Area Federal Credit Union, Vic Evans, with Brad Payne, Matt Briggins. You can hear these guys every Monday, right? 6 to 7 now here every Monday. You got Catholic and Owensboro in the state championship games this weekend coming up. You got Catholic playing on Friday. They will take on Lexington Christian, who has one state title in their history. Catholic, they've been to more state finals. They're the Bills. They've been to the most state finals without ever winning one. Yeah. They finally kick that door in and get it taken care of this week. Lexington Christian is really good.
They are. Well coached. But it just feels like this is the one.
It does.
It just feels like you sense that and we've all coached before, and you don't necessarily always have the most talented team or the most cohesive team or whatever characteristics you want to put on a team. but something just feels like you're going to win games. And this Catholic team, I feel like they're going to win.
I think they're very special and a great group of seniors. We talked about they've won 48 of their last 52. You feel the same way? Can you pick Catholic, or are you just a Catholic High hater?
No, I'm not a Catholic High hater. I never have been. No, I think Catholic's going to win, and I think it'll be a huge win for them. And
I'm worried about the weather a little bit. They're talking about snow on Friday
that
in
would
Lexington.
affect it a little bit for Catholic, but
couldn't sling
it's
it.
their year though. It really is, and I hope Coach Morris finally gets one. And I said finally, he's been there. I mean, it's impressive just to get there.
Yeah,
you know
get there 3 years in a row. I mean, it's unreal.
It really is, and I hope they win. And I know we're talking about Catholic, but I think Owensboro's going to win.
Well, they're taking on Pulaski Saturday night. It'll be 7 p.m. Central Time right here on 102.7 The Game. Pulaski won a state title in 2014, and they beat Graves County. How about that one?
Yeah.
In a 14-7 game. Owensboro looking to win their first football state title since 1986.
I had no idea until somebody had said that.
That team was led by Peanut White, Maurice White,
Wow.
and that team started 1-3.
Yeah.
Think about it, it kind of parallels. You start 1-3, kind of make a change at quarterback, and then you also insert Peanut White, and you never lose again. Owensboro this year 0-2. Evan, I looked up his numbers in the playoffs, guys. He's averaging 15.9 yards a carry in the playoffs. It's
Insane.
like 52 carries for over 800, or right at 800 yards.
That's video.
It's
arcane.
insane. It's insane.
Video game numbers there.
Yeah.
Greenwood ought to tip the cap to Greenwood. May have the best defense we've ever seen. Greenwood held him like 20 carries to 76 yards.
Is there a hotter team
No,
in the state?
they've won 10 straight. They've dominated.
But then, we talked about everything has been talking about their offense. What they did last week
against Woodford, the
against
second
Woodford's
highest scoring
offense,
team.
like this team has got it together, man.
They're rolling.
And I don't want to jinx anything at all. I'm not a big believer in that kind of stuff anyway, but
I'm definitely rooting for him. And
me too.
Coach Ganaway, you can't find a better dude than him.
No.
I'm so glad he's back.
At least for this year.
I'm not glad
he's not going anywhere.
I'm not glad he's of what's about the domino effect of what'll end up happening, but I ain't going to be around anyways.
I was going to say, you get somebody like him who's a dynamic guy and football players that can also play basketball. You better watch out going in the future.
That's not a great
Well,
feeling.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Are we going to see like
I would want to play for him.
An
If I had a kid
80s,
that
an
could play.
80s dominance of Owensboro
I
maybe
hope
going
so.
forward?
I hope so for his sake. There's no way that deserves it because he puts a lot of time into it. He's great with the kids, and he obviously knows what the hell he's doing.
Does UK beat UNC?
In basketball?
Yes.
No. My God, that what's his name? Caleb is it Williams, the freshman or whatever for UNC?
Uh-huh.
That dude can go. I mean, he's Kevin Durant with some strength.
Can I just say this? I've been wanting to say it for a while.
Yeah, go ahead.
His name's not Caleb Williams.
No, it's Mark Pope is weird.
He's a nerd. I mean, this guy was a.
He's weird. He creeps me out. Like,
Well, they're all kind of
no.
Well,
they're
Kelsey's
not.
weird.
Kelsey's weird, but he wouldn't creep me out in a
No.
but Pope is creepy.
Really?
Came from a Mormon school.
Well, I mean,
the guy's a
Mormons
brainiac.
in our viewership.
I don't think so.
Okay, well,
I don't think so.
There you go. That tells you right there.
Well,
Who cares?
Well, I'm trying to be a little more politically correct. We've kind of.
Are you?
Caleb Wilson.
There it is.
I am.
Yeah.
It's close.
I am trying to be.
Hey, you got North Carolina, you got Gonzaga, you've also got Indiana, you got St. John's.
St. John's is terrible.
Hold on, they can't
They
go
can't
0-4, right?
No,
I mean,
no,
Kentucky's
no.
got to win a couple of those.
1-3.
1-3.
1-3 for him.
Well, the weirdo will get a win somewhere. It won't be Kentucky
Season
very
starts,
long.
boys.
Well, basketball season's upon us. You can catch these guys.
I'll be in my safe house.
We'll be talking
You'll
about
never
it
see Briggs again. So
all
everybody take a
year
look.
long here on Beyond the Bench.
My
It's been
last
brought
live
to you
stream.
by the Green River Area Federal Credit
Join us
Union.
next Monday, 6 p.m. for more Beyond the Bench. Your home for Third Region Sports is 102.7 The Game.
Barbecue sauce.